going to take you through how to correctly cleanse your hair. I'm going to be using Goldwell Rich Repair shampoo and conditioner. This is what I'll be using. The way I'm going to show you is going to help keep your ends protected, and the way I'm going to do it is going to prevent from sensitizing your ends anymore and getting a proper clean from the scalp, which generally I think with a lot of people, and I find this because I talk to so many guests in my salon, and when they've come into the salon, I have a look through their hair. A lot of the time they've told me that their hair got quite oily after the last shampoo and they couldn't stretch it out for 2 or 3 days, which is something is quite achievable, and I think most people should be able to do that. So what I'm trying to do is also help avoid washing it every single day, because that too will help keep your hair nice and strong. But a lot of the time, depending on how long your hair is, and if you do have really long hair and thick hair in particular, there's a lot of don'ts with the whole shampooing technique, which prevents your hair actually being cleaned properly. So you're always starting with a little bit of residue left behind when you move into your styling. So these techniques I'm going to show you are going to prevent all of that and give you a really nice result at the end, and possibly 0 knots, okay? So the only other tool I'm going to be needing while I'm in the shower and going through this is a large tooth comb, and that's going to help us comb through the conditioner when we get to that point. All right, let's get started. Okay, we're going to start by wetting the hair down. Let's go. So hair's wet down. We didn't have to spend too long. I'm turning the shower off in between talking to you with this tutorial so that you can hear me properly. All right, how much shampoo to use? Let's start with that. So I'm going to put in my palm of my hand about the size of a 50-cent piece, if you're in Australia. From there, emulsify. This needs to be rubbed through your hands before you place it on your head. It is too hard and inconsistent to try and spread what you've applied in your hands and start to rub it in that way. So we've rubbed it right through, smooth over the head, underneath onto the scalp. All this application is for the scalp, not the ends of the hair. We will not be rubbing this together, nor will we be piling all this hair up onto the head and rubbing it in. All right, so the application was smoothed over the head, hands went through underneath onto the scalp as well, and then in kind of circular motions, the scalp is given a wash. What I do is I like to start and concentrate through the front half, and then I'm going to do a second shampoo and concentrate through the back. Now you'll notice there's not a lot of lather here. So I'm using a salon branded shampoo and conditioner, and they don't lather too much, but because I am due very much for a shampoo, I'm due for my cleansing, I don't expect more than that. So it doesn't mean I stop. I keep moving and massage through the back, but I've kind of given most of that attention through the front and around the sides. So now we're going to rinse again. That's how quick it is. Okay, I'm not going to squeeze my hair out in between each shampoo. I like to leave the water in there because that's going to help with the lather. So we're going to go a second round, again, about the size of a 50-cent piece. I'm going to be rubbing this through my hands. Always emulsify your product. Same thing, I'm going to just gently kind of skim through the top there, but I want most of this to go through underneath the back and around the crown this time. So already you can see that that is foaming up quite well. And just in circular motions, you want to be sure you cover everywhere. A lot of the time the oil will build up around here, and that's from creams that you put on your skin after when you're cleansing your face and moisturizing your face. But can you see I'm not washing the ends of my hair? My fingers are always at the scalp. Now, actually, this is another good point. Here I am talking to you with lots of shampoo in my hair. I turn the tap off so I can speak to you. But if you have that water running down on top of your hair while you're in the motion of shampooing it, you're going to be washing a lot of that off. So that can also take away from the wash you're trying to achieve. So if you're going to leave the shower running, which is what we generally do, try to step out of it a little bit or find a corner in the shower that's not going to be continually washing off your head while you're washing your hair. Okay? And when I'm in the salon, Of course I turn the hose off when I've got someone at the wash basin so that I can do the shampoo. So it's, for a hairdresser, it just makes sense to not have water running on top of you. But sometimes I think it's not always thought about when you're in the shower and you go home and you're just washing your hair and you're trying to stay warm at the same time, that you don't realise how much water is actually hitting your head. So that's 2 shampoos, and I'm more than happy with that. The ends of my hair don't need a scrub. It has been a long time since those ends have been existing up near the roots of my hair. So when I rinse this second shampoo off my hair, the shampoo is going to run down past the ends of my hair and off completely. And that's as gentle as the shampoo needs to be for the ends of your hair. And it will remove product buildup and any residue of dust or anything you've been around in the environment that may have just landed and sitting on your hair that you feel like needs a clean will come away when the shampoo with the water just runs right through. So no washing and scrubbing the ends, and definitely no piling up on top and washing that into the hair that way. All right, so we're going to rinse off the second shampoo before we get on to the conditioner. I do like to move the hair around a little bit to make sure that everything gets rinsed off. We want to rinse really well before we put conditioner on our hair. Just moving your hair around. And that's it. I rinsed that off a little longer than I did in between the first shampoo to the second. The second shampoo, if that's your final shampoo, needs to be rinsed off really well. If you're doing a third shampoo, then you might not wash too quickly or spend too long on the second rinse. But definitely before we get into the conditioner, you want to make sure all that shampoo is out of your hair. Now at this point, I do want to squeeze that excess water out of my hair. I don't want too much water in there because it will dilute the conditioner, and I want to get maximum effect from that. Now the conditioner and how much to use. That will depend on how much hair you have and how you felt that distribution went through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with roughly about the same amount I used for my shampoo, but I may add a little bit more. You don't want to start with too much in your hand that you can't hold it all. Otherwise you'll find that it'll just start hitting the shower floor and you'll lose product, and that just wastes. So I start with about the same, although it's thicker. I still, even though there's nothing to emulsify and actually get a lather from, I still spread it through my hands, okay, because you're going to get a much better distribution. So I'm going to take my hair like I'm holding it for a ponytail, and it's from that point down that I apply the conditioner to start with, and then gently just spread it through with my fingers. Now that actually feels like more than enough for me. But if you feel that it's just not quite enough, or your hair absorbed that really quickly, then by all means add a little bit more. You might do half the amount I just used, or you might use the same amount again. But still apply from the same section, which is from the base of the neck all the way down. All right? We don't want to apply the conditioner to the roots. Now from here, this is where we need our wide tooth comb. I say wide because we don't want to get stretching. Our hair is wet, so it's already in a stretch. And if your hair is kind of weak or has been coloured quite a lot, it won't take much more to actually create a snap if your hair is somewhat sensitized. But there's generally healthy hair always has a fair bit of elasticity and give in it, so don't stress too much. Now, because of how we did our shampoo, we haven't knotted our hair up. It's just been cleansed, it's been moved around, but there's been no knots created. And because we've started our conditioner application from the ends down, this is how it's going to be even more knot-free. We start combing from the ends. So if, let's say for example, you had a big knot here, you don't want to be starting above that knot and trying to comb through it. That will cause lots of tension and stress and possible snapping. And it's going to be painful and take you a long time because that knot then has to move all the way through. But if you free the ends up first, you start right from the end where if there was a knot here, that's going to come straight out because there's nothing following on. And you just work your way up the hair. You see how easy that just combs straight through? And if you do find you get a bit of a knot, you can always come out from there, free it up from underneath again, and it just combs easily through. And that is honestly exactly what you're going to get. So from there, I comb right through from the roots to the ends. What the comb does is it does pick up some conditioner. So you're going to end up applying and stretching some of that conditioner up to the roots. And that's as much as you're going to need. You don't want to have too much up here. Doesn't matter if you have really oily hair or you find your hair is quite dry, you still don't want to apply too much conditioner to the roots either way. But you can see that the conditioner has definitely spread up to the roots of my hair. I would suggest we're going to go straight into rinsing. Now we want to rinse the conditioner out properly. So it's not going to be a quick rinse like after the first shampoo. It's going to be every bit as long as the second shampoo, if not a little bit longer if you're unsure. We want to make sure all that conditioner is removed from the roots. But if you have gone through the steps this way, it won't be hard to be sure that that has been rinsed away properly. Okay. Move the hair around, just as we did before with the shampoo. You'll know when to stop rinsing when you don't feel that slimy, slippery feel quite as strong as definitely not as strong as when you have the conditioner in your hair. But generally you'll go by feel, and you'll have a good idea of when you know that all the conditioner has been removed from your hair. Okay, we are done. Time for a quick towel dry. And moving straight on to the leave-in moisturizer. So what you want to do when you towel dry your hair is, generally I like to do a really nice squeeze and just let that water absorb up into the towel. So I might gather some hair and just give it a scrunch. But just like we didn't get the shampoo and scrub and wash our hair together that way, I don't recommend that you get your hair and rub it between the towel either. So just gathering up your hair and giving it a really nice squeeze. Generally start from the scalp. That way you get a lot of that water off the roots, and then you give the ends a squeeze and you should find that that's going to be towel dried just nicely. All right. Time for moisturizer. We have cleansed our hair, we have conditioned the ends. Well, we've conditioned everything, but we've made sure the ends got a really good dose. And now we have towel dried and we're up to the leave-in moisturizer, the third step of correct cleansing. I have two options here. One is a spray, Goldwell spray, and one is a cream. It doesn't matter which one that you may prefer. If your hair is quite thick, quite coarse, tends to get quite fluffy or frizzy, you might decide that the cream is going to give you much more penetration and definitely a smoother coating where it's a little heavier and sits and absorbs nicely into the hair that way. For finer hair, too thick hair, it doesn't matter. There are sprays as well. So these are nice and easy if you're that kind of person who prefers not to have to always rub it through your hands and distribute it that way. Sometimes spraying it through is just that little bit easier. Now, the comb comes in handy at this point as well. I haven't combed anything yet, so it looks quite matted and knotty, but it's not. I'm going to show you this. We're going to use the comb to comb through the application. So this is a little bit similar to when you put the conditioner through your hair. We're going to focus again in the same area from the mid-lengths down. So I'm going to show you both. We'll start with the spray. All right, so in this case, I need to give this one a little bit of a shake. It has 2 dimensions to it and it does separate. So that's how this is going to work for the hair. I'm going to give it a little shake and start spraying. So I'm aiming for mid-lengths down. This spray doesn't have anything oily about it whatsoever. Very hard to overuse, but you can definitely feel when you're using this the difference. I'll spray that through, and hopefully the way I'm using this is going to give you a good idea of how much to use. I haven't ever counted the amount of sprays. I go by feel when I know that that's been coated really well. Okay, from there I pick up my wide tooth comb again And exactly the same as with the conditioner, start from the ends and work your way through, and you will see this is just sliding through effortlessly. So it's not knotty, it's just the way I picked up the hair to dry it with a towel, and it kind of fluffed it up a little bit, but everything I have done has been extremely gentle. And this is how you keep your hair healthy. So starting from the ends, working your way up. So you're giving the ends are going to be knot free, so that if you encounter a knot, there's nothing knotty underneath it, so it should just glide straight out. And it doesn't matter if you find that you've gone and jumped up too high and you've created a knot, then you just jump from underneath, smooth that out again, and slowly work it through. For anyone with very young children, they're going to love you for knowing this technique. No more ripping out the hair. So this also helps just make sure that the moisturizer you've put through has been distributed nice and evenly as well. For a nice even porosity, we want to keep the porosity as equal and as even as possible from the roots to the ends, because that actually snowballs into the next styling phase. So it's all about getting the cleansing right. You get this part right and you see such a difference in the way your hair performs, behaves, lasts till the next time you need to wash your hair. It is quite remarkable how different it will be and how much time you will save and time back you'll get through the week as well. Okay, so that was with the spray. I'm going to go straight into my moisturizing with the cream. You don't need to use both. I'm doing this so you can see how much and how to distribute it. So moisturizer, oh, open that up. So in this case, I'm going to pump that into my hand. Now I would normally use, if I was only going to use this product, the cream, I would use about 3 pumps, rub that through my hands and apply that on one side, and I do another 3 pumps and apply it on the other side. But because I've already used the spray moisturizer and I'm using more of this on top, I'm going to start with 2 pumps and just back it off a little bit. But everything else about this is exactly the same. So cream, anything you have to put in your hand, you must always rub through. Rub through. All right, so it's through my hands. I'm going to gather it exactly again like the conditioner through the ends of my hair. If I was starting from scratch, I'd divide that this way, 3 pumps through here. And then I would reapply another 3 pumps. Please keep in mind that the moisturizer is not a styling product. A true hair moisturizer is not going to help create waves. It's not going to help create body and height and volume. It's purely going to help complete the cleansing process, give a beautiful equal effect porosity wise from roots to ends, so that when we get to styling, we're going to have a nice even surface, and we're going to have the same result when we're styling our hair, whatever that may be. It might be we smooth it out or curl it or whatever you decide to do. It will stay consistent from roots to ends, and so will the way it lasts. So after that hour or two, if you're styling, it should remain exactly as it was until you wash again. You should have that equally balanced all the way through. And there we have our cleansing done. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you for watching, and keep your hair healthy, and I look forward to sharing more tips and techniques with you very soon. Bye.